Okay, Sonjia Shaw, Chino Valley Unified School Board President, also mother of two female athletes.
Excellent. Now, tell me about your experience with athlete AB Hernandez and what you've seen personally, what you've witnessed, and your
Yeah, so with this particular athlete, he's been competing against girls even in our own district and surrounding districts, which is wrong because it's taking their rights away. And we've been very vocal on not just the person, but anybody who decides to do that. We've been saying no, this enough is enough. Of course, there's the California law, and there's the coward Newsom and the rest of them that hide behind that. But when Trump came back and he did the Title IX, and put it back to what it was supposed to be, because remember Biden was trying to reinvent it and pervert it, in my opinion. We went full force. I mean, I'm a mom who ran for school board because of issues like this. With girls not having privacy and fairness in their sports and all the crazy stuff going on with kids. And when we were vocal about it, his mother came directly and attacked those like myself and Jessica Tapia. We've gotten a cease and desist. We've, been verbally attacked at the meet, and they try to claim that they're the victim when our daughters are the victims. And recently, also our district, I have been given a copy that the mother submitted a formal complaint on myself and actually one of our female athletes, which is disappointing because the mom. She's gone on video. She's gaslighted girls. It's sad. It's like right is right and wrong is wrong. And what's happening to our girls is wrong. And that's where we're taking a stand and saying no. You've seen school districts all across California. I authored a resolution, and I'm so excited that school districts all across California are either passing it or bringing it forward, whether they pass or not. These are issues that, next election cycle, we will definitely let the public know and switch those seats to those that want to protect, common sense. We need to bring common sense back again. And our district also sent a letter to Trump officially asking him to intervene and pretty much pull the funding. Like Newsom's not, he's going to play and dance around. He admitted it was unfair, but he has no intention of fixing this. He's part of the problem. You've seen the legislators that, answer to him. They've referred to us parents as Nazis, which is actually very disturbing, especially, to those that have had family members endure that kind of crazy violence. This is just common sense. This should not even be an issue. If they were to allow fairness in sports and allow girls their own rightful spots in their sports, then this would all go away. But they want to pick this as the hill that they'll die on. That's fine. We've already picked that hill that we're gonna die on as well. I'm not sure if you're aware, we have activists coming after us, of course, with their normal death threats and, violent, posts and stuff. And that's okay because we would be cowards just like CIF and the rest of them if we walked away and didn't do what's right for our daughters.
have you had any interactions with CIF yourself where you've met with them or gone to a meeting? And what is their and kind of bringing that forward to today when they put out a
Yeah.
statement where they've changed one of their policies going into this weekend's event. So what does that tell you
Yeah.
about their mindset and where this might be going?
Well, to be fair, I do know a couple people in CIF and they do want to do what's right. Of course, I want them to be as bold as some of us, and come out and say that they do agree that this is wrong, but they refuse. I have been told, I've actually spoke to a few of them, that are sitting members, that they said that they were afraid that the Department of Ed would pretty much, the California Department of Ed, let's be clear. There's two Department of Eds that we're talking about here. The California Department of Ed, head by Tony Thurmond, would do something to even try to pull the funding. But at what point is money worth, destroying someone's life? And they're destroying our daughters' lives. So yes, I have spoke to a few of them. I have been to their, yearly meetings in Long Beach along Sophia Laurie and a few other really brave people that have been going there and asking them to stand up and do what's right, even to bring a resolution forward and say that you want fairness for our girls. I mean, just showing our girls that you're trying to fight it. Today, when they put that notice on, it sends mixed feelings because they're admitting it's wrong. But then again, you're offering girls an invite back to where their rightful spots. To what? To compete against a male again? This is absurd. This is gaslighting, of course. And at the same token, it's like at some point, somebody's just got to pull it and say enough is enough. And that's where we're trying, that's what we're trying to do. You have the Sign Girls Sports petition that Sophia Laurie under the California Family Council is doing. You have Jessica Tapia working for Advocates in Faith and Freedom, and they're trying to bring a lawsuit to challenge AB 1266, which most people are not aware. That's the California law that allows this insanity. So that's where we're trying to put pressure at all points until finally our girls win. We're not giving up. We know this is a marathon. We're right there. We've offered our own district, to, hey, pull the funding, Trump, let's do it, because we need to show them that we're serious about protecting our girls at this point.
So, talking about the funding a little bit. So, when Trump says he's going to pull the funding, how much of money are we talking about? What federal dollars specifically come into your district? How much of a percentage of your budget is that? And what does that money pay
Yeah.
for? And so, what's ultimately at stake, I guess, is the question.
I'm glad you asked. For districts like ours in Chino Valley, we are a large district, and thankfully, we have staff that don't rely on the federal funding. It is a small portion. Federal funding in the nation is about 1/10, 1/15. It depends on the districts, of course, and their size and how much federal funding they use. So, when you're talking about large districts, it's not going to affect them as much as a smaller district. So that's why we're saying, as a larger district, please do what's right. I mean, at the same token, some districts will survive. We're not trying to, hurt kids and their education. But again, when you talk about hurting kids, our daughters are being hurt, right? So I still say at what point, what money is worth a child going through what they're going through? These girls are going through a lot of emotional distress. I mean, they're going through opportunities ripped. And then to all be told today from CIF, oh, we invite you, you could be invited back. It's just insanity. It's like, I can't even believe we're in this spot. But at the same token, I think it's woken up a lot of parents to realize the system is not safe. The people that are elected, the majority, are insane. And it's time to get them out of the seats. Whether it's school board, I think that's an important thing. You've seen in our own school board, we've taken over, regardless of the union throwing hundreds and thousands of dollars at our district, trying to get us out of there. You saw Bonta, he sued our district, right? Just for wanting to afford parents their constitutional right. So to me, all these things are waking people up and realizing that it's the people that we're electing, or we're not even paying attention to these elections, like myself 5 years ago. So again, when it comes to federal funding, it could mean a lot to some districts, or it can mean very little to other districts. Again, I'm very excited that our district doesn't rely on the federal funding. If it was up to me, federal funding would just go towards kids that have special needs and call it a day. That's where it should go. All the other programs, as you've seen, when Trump brought in our Secretary McMahon, she's disarming those. She's getting rid of those programs because they haven't had success, right? So I think pull the funding. If you have to use larger districts, let's do it. Because at the same token, again, I'll say it over and over. Our girls are being hurt. So there is children being hurt by these actions.
And then looking ahead, so you've clearly been the president of the school board that's really been in the crosshairs of this issue, it sounds like, for a while. Are you so looking towards your political future, superintendent of schools? Why put your foot in the ring in that arena? What's your goal there? What's sort of your platform?
I'm thankful you asked that, because there's a lot of sacrifice, that comes from my family. But my family agreed, if we're going to stay in California, we're going to fight for common sense. We're going to fight for the families that, are suffering at the hands of these people. And when I got into school board, I got into it because our school board was not listening to us parents. We wanted to partner with them. We didn't want those seats. We just asked to be a partner in our own child's education. And it was very clear that they did not want that. So when it came to me getting in here and then the state coming after us for common sense policies that we passed, look at Chino Valley. Our test scores are starting to raise. Maybe it's slightly, but in California, that's not really heard of. There's only, a few handfuls of school districts that have school boards that recently elected members like myself who actually care about our children and our families. So when I'm getting contacted by people all over California, I feel helpless when it comes to families and children being safe in the school system in California. And that's when, I prayed about it and I said, it's time. It's time to bring it at the state level. We keep handing it over to our kids at a silver platter and no more. Like, we can't be told that these are union held seats or union owned seats. You know what? I refuse to believe that. People in California, regardless of how you want to label us, red, blue, yellow, whatever it is, they want common sense. And I really believe that in my heart. And that's what I want to bring back to the state. I want to bring back the focus on education. It's not brain science. It's not, brain surgery, sorry. It's common sense. It's, putting it back to education, but also giving our kids the tools for success after high school. Not all are 4-year bound. My heart is literally pouring out into our own district on providing our kids the tools. That needs to go statewide. It's not fair for me to sit here and try, to have the majority of our board protect just Chino kids, Chino Valley kids. It has to be California kids. And that's where I'm going to step in. I mean, I said I'm going to do it. Is it easy? No. Are we up against a machine? Absolutely. But you know what? If we can go and continue to take over these school board seats, we can take a state seat like that. My goal is to help flip more school board seats and really be a voice and get common sense back into our classrooms and help our good teachers actually do what they signed up to do, which is educate.
Got it. And you may have said this, and I might have just missed this. So, do you have daughters that are competing against AB Hernandez as well, or are you just you're there fighting for the parents that have daughters competing against AB?
My daughters are actually in soccer and flag football. They have not entered into the track. But again, a boy can come into those teams anytime they want to, according to California. I'm fighting for all of our daughters, all girls across California and all families across California. And that's where it shows, a lot of us parents, a lot of us people who have gotten into this fight, it's because we see a problem and refuse to let our girls go through this alone. It's heartbreaking. I've seen the girls in tears. I've had even boys come up to us and say, thank you. And we're trying to fight too. I mean, you've seen athletes wear the shirts, protect girls' sports to these meets. And what are they met with? Adults telling them they need to take those shirts off. But again, our kids, there's so many bold and brave, courageous kids. I just don't feel like they should have to go through this. It should be us as adults figuring this out so they don't have to do this.
And then I guess the last question I have is CIF and their funding. I don't know enough about the organization. How do they get their money? Do they get any federal funding? Do they get state funding? Do they get it from the schools? Where do they get their money?
Yeah, so from my understanding, it's, obviously the schools are members of CIF and then the state is the one that holds them either hostage. But let's be real, CIF isn't exactly innocent. I don't know if you've seen their toolkit when it comes to, these boys competing against the girls and vice versa. They put out a toolkit and it pretty much is training our girls on how to be compliant in this insanity. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're all innocent as well, because they're not. I just think a few of them have common sense, and that's why they're trying their best, but they're also scared. They're panicking. Look at today. That's a panic. Literally, what did you just tell California? We're inviting you back to your rightful spot. But then again, you're gaslighting them all to go against a boy once again. Why? What in the world is going on? I mean, the only thing I did hear is they're scared because, CIF is in contact with the Department of Ed. I think they're part of the California Department of Ed has a big portion of, making the policies for them from what I was told. I haven't exactly looked into that, but they did say they have the legislator majority to where if they were to say something wrong, they would pull their funding and they would take California Department of Ed would completely take over, which sounds to me like blackmail. So you're going to be quiet and let these people blackmail you all in what? Letting our girls get hurt. So again, I call them all cowards at the end of the day. Do what's right. Most of them, when I walked into that room, are men. Why are men allowing this to happen to females? This is just wrong. This is absolutely insane. And that's where I'm like, no, look at moms like myself or Tapia or even young female athletes that have graduated college as, collegiate athletes like Sophia Lori. Why is it that we're, the loudest ones on trying to get this fixed and sounding the alarm? CIF needs to do that too. Just like our district, I get it. There's laws, but we are being allowed voice alongside other districts, right? Be the voice. Call it what it is. It's wrong.